Good afternoon. I think we're about ready to get started. And for those of you, I really appreciate the social distancing. You can come in a little if you want to get a little more view of the board. There's a video. It's going to loop inside so you don't have to see it right now. But it'll be an interesting video. But if you want to come a little closer, that's great. I really appreciate all of you coming today. What a great day. You know, it's a perfect college afternoon. It's Friday afternoon. The leaves are changing. There's excitement in the campus air. There's just something about being around college students in the fall that really is fulfilling. And at this point, I don't know. The last 6 months have been tough. And it's, I guess, makes me realize and appreciate celebrations like this more than ever before. And it's not every day we get to celebrate the opening of a new academic building, but we sure are today. I'd like to show the appreciation to everybody right now who've come to celebrate today. Thank you for being here. I'm Chancellor Kristensen. I'm lucky enough to be the chancellor here, and I'm always happy for these types of events because we get a chance to look to the future. We get to think about what the future's all about, and we get to reflect a little bit on our past successes. But today's been an awful long time coming, a real long time. I remember that day in May of 2018, we were sitting right in this same spot. And we were gathered, we'd painted the outline in a parking lot of where the building was going to be. And many of you were there. Even if we had the perimeter, we had it painted in, and we were trying to decide what it would be like to be in the building. And it was a little hard to do. We couldn't quite fathom what that would look like. I don't think any of us could imagine what the product of this building is. And it's beautiful. It is gorgeous. And it is so functional. It is so flexible. Honestly, right now, we've only had it for a few weeks and had students in there. I can't imagine not having this building on our campus. So the past 2 years and some odd months, in retrospect, they've gone very quickly. During that period of time, we never thought this day would come. It's just taken more and more time. I've got some people who I'd really like you to get to know. People who I'd like to recognize and introduce at this point. I think the first one, obviously, is the president of the University of Nebraska, President Ted Carter, and his wife, Linda. Here's Ted, Linda. Nice. There she is. I love the blue and gold, Linda. You're great. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Senator John Lowe, I know Senator Lowe's over here. Hi, John. Thank you for coming. You know, as District 37th Senator, you hear from us a lot. And I think we always come with something that we need or want, but you're always patient with us, and I know you share our excitement over this building, what it means to the district, but more importantly, what it means to the state of Nebraska. This is truly a state building. You helped us turn ground at that groundbreaking, and we're really glad you're here today. Thank you, Senator Lowe. Regents Jim Pillen, Paul Kinney, and Bob Ferris, and our student regent Max Beal are also with us. And I think Margene Ferris, I know Margene was here this morning, down over here. Wave, thank you all for being here. The Board of Regents gets paid nothing. And they get a lot of complaints. But honestly, it's their vision that makes this happen. It's their governance and their ability, and we dearly appreciate the board to spend their time with us and to help celebrate today. Also, our chief IT leader of the entire university system, Brett Blackman, is here with us. Brett, I'm not sure where you're at, but thank you for being here. There he is, right in front, getting the suntan. All right. That painted outline I mentioned, put here by our facilities staff, it not only showed where the building was going to be, but it also was sort of a uniter. It put us all into that same space. And that's a lot of what this building is all about. Faculty from very diverse departments have now come together. And for the first time, they're working together. They're talking about not just their discipline, but how does their discipline work with another one. And not only how to share their classroom and lab space, but also how to transfer this new knowledge and how to make those things work. In May, I talked about the concept of STEM as not just a collection of programs, but it's departments coming together and colleges with an eye to discovery. And that's how we came up with the name. After many months, the idea and the name Discovery Hall is so appropriate. This building is not a lecture hall. This building is all about discovering new things, having new people work together with each other. Truly, there will be lots discovered in this building. And it's going to benefit our students, it's going to benefit our state, and I couldn't be happier that Discovery Hall is apparent as physics and engineering students work together, faculty work with construction management, math and statistics are working with computer science. There are so many disciplines in this new department and this new building that you can't name them all. But there are ones like cyber operations and cyber systems, which are brand new but are collections from other departments. This is truly exciting times for us. Would the faculty and staff from the new building, would you raise your hands? So many, I know you're out there. Raise your hands. Let's give them our appreciation. It is not easy to have change. The faculty and the staff have gone above and beyond the call to work together. There's patience, there's discipline, but I think they all have the common good, and that's what sets UNK, I think, so far apart from many other people. This building will change Nebraska, but this building is going to definitely change UNK. And it's going to provide new opportunities for students that we'd never dreamed of before. And much like the Health Science Education Complex that we dedicated now 5 years ago, that was a state-supported facility in rural Nebraska and greater Nebraska. And I think it shows the commitment of the state to rural Nebraska. Now the ball's in our court to show them what we can do with those facilities. We really are at UNK the driver of economic development in rural Nebraska. And that's what this building is going to do even more. It's going to help us with research and discovery, teaching, and access for all sorts of students who never dreamed about coming. Little Long never dreamed that they'd have the quality of building and the opportunities that are here. These opportunities are going to be here long after I'm gone, after you're gone. This is going to be generations that are going to be served by this building. And that's really what Discovery Hall is all about in my book. It's our promise to the future generations. We promise them a world of discovery by everybody who will embrace that and who are bold enough to venture out and to learn. The building is flexible enough to really survive for more generations and be able to sustain programs that we haven't even thought of yet. They'll be able to do that. Some of you haven't had a chance to go through the building yet. Don't worry, there's plenty of time to do that. Go through 2 or 3 times. I'll guarantee you I still am going through finding things I did not know. We've asked to keep the number of visitors down because of our current pandemic, but it's always good. You can always come back. When you're comfortable to come in and want to take the tours, please do that. Before we invite President Carter to come up and say a few words, I want you to get a sense of how special this building is with a little video tour. And at this point, I draw your attention to the video board. the technology in the building is wonderful.
This is a long time in coming. In 1998, the chancellor at that time said, look, the number one building in the university list of priorities is to get Otto Olson replaced or rebuilt. That was 1998. I think the wait has been worth it.
I don't think I overstated by saying this building is going to change Nebraska. UNK's always been a driver of this region for discovering, for teaching, for access to higher education for central Nebraska and western Nebraska. That's who's going to benefit here. So STEM's not only about programs, it's about the integration of departments and colleges with an eye towards the future. We're going to see physics and engineering students working together with construction management. We're going to see math and statistics working with computer science, and the information and computing disciplines are going to work together with a department called cyber systems.
It's what's inside this building that is so special and so important. As we go forward, the real beneficiaries are students and the opportunities they're going to have.
This will change UNK.
Kelly, thank you to you and your staff for putting that video together. Very, very good. President Carter visited Kearney nearly a year ago. It was on his first trip here. He saw the progress that was underway at this facility and shared our eagerness for the project. Then in March, on the verge of the pandemic, he was here. He walked through the finished halls for the first time. President Carter, I hope you're as pleased to be here on this historic day as we were to have you in those first days. We'd like you to come and reflect on the importance of Discovery Hall for UNK and the university as a whole. Ladies and gentlemen, it is absolutely my privilege to welcome back to the Discovery Hall grand opening President Ted Carter, President of the University of Nebraska.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Chancellor Kristensen, thank you for that kind introduction. I want to say welcome to Senator Lowe, our regents, Regent Pillen, Regent Kearney, Regent Ferris, Student Regent Max Beal, our faculty, our staff, our students, people of Kearney. It's a great day to be here. This day has been coming for a long time. The vision of this building goes back well over 20 years. And here we are today celebrating its opening, the first day of homecoming at UNK. And as I've come to see how this building has come together, I would tell you this day is not just about the evolutionary process of higher education. This is a day that marks a new revolution in higher education. I hope each and every one of you get a chance to come through and see the significance of this building. And as I've seen it today, now with students in there, I got to see the great wall in there and how it is performing. I even got to get in the simulator and see how realistic that is. I think back to the history of this amazing school, going all the way back to 1905 as the normal school. How innovative was it then, at the turn of our century, to have a school that brought only women to become the teachers for the state of Nebraska and our country? And then in 1921 to become the Nebraska State Teachers College. And then in 1963 to become the Kearney State College, all the way until 1991 when it became part of our university system. Through that evolution and through that revolution of providing school teachers for the state of Nebraska, this will now take us to a new level. As we look at the needs of the state of Nebraska in our university system, where we graduate 11,000 students a year, and yet we still have a hard time filling those high skill, high demand, high pay jobs that exist in our state. Commonly known as H3 jobs, this building will serve as that mechanism, that pathway to create the success of our students to come into our Nebraska workforce. As I've seen here today, this building is the future of higher education. It's not just experiential, it's immersive, it's interactive. It brings a whole new definition to hybrid education, where you can be in the classroom and yet still be at a remote location and have the same ability to see that type of education. This building will know no bounds, not just the border of Nebraska, not just the borders of our state, not even the borders of our country. That's how groundbreaking this building is. And I feel the future of higher education is centered right here at the University of Nebraska at Kearney. U.S. News and World Report just recently came out with their college rankings. And no surprise, Kearney is on the rise. When you look at all of the universities in the Midwest, Kearney ranks number 6 for colleges in the Midwest in our nation. If you look, yeah, you should clap for that. And just as it's always been a teacher's college, it still is. When you look at its master's degree program for online for education, number 31 in the nation across all colleges and universities in the United States. It's a remarkable ranking. And for those that come from the military that are retired or transitioning that want to get into higher education, it ranks number 6 in its online master's program. And today, this is that revolution for not just being what has always been a great teaching college, but now a college that will be involved in science, technology, engineering, and math. And there's so much more, as Doug went through. This is multidisciplinary, cross-functional education delivered with hybrid capabilities. I can't think of a more exciting time for our entire university system than what we have here. So everyone, from our legislature to our regents, to our faculty, to our staff, everyone that's had a vision and a part of making this day come together, congratulations. And as you begin homecoming, I think it's appropriate for us to remember the motto here at the University of Nebraska at Kearney. Be blue, be gold, be bold. Go Lopers.
President Carter, we really appreciate you being here today. And you know, it is homecoming week, and the students, I think, are very, very relieved. It's a great opportunity. There's been lots of challenges. But I think that there's also lots of challenges that have occurred prior to today. The legislature deserves a lot of congratulations for today. They had the vision and the determination in 2016 to appropriate deferred maintenance funds for the entire university. The only building in that list that was a new building was Otto Olson replacement. Galen Hadley's with us this afternoon. Senator, you were the leader. You were the leader. You were the Speaker of the legislature at that time, and you brought forth this capital construction bill. We are indebted, deeply indebted, for your work in bringing that bill. It was a hearing on February 9th, 2016, when Galen Hadley was introducing LB 858, and he referred to this as the Hadley Hall for retired school teachers. I think only half jokingly. I think he might have been serious. But he knew how difficult it was for Nebraska facing aging buildings. We have lots of aging buildings. In fact, there were 17 of them at the time that were identified as the greatest need. Several of them were here on the UNK campus. Galen, you knew as well as anybody how Otto Olson had outlived its usefulness. It opened for classes 65 years ago and housed industrial arts, home ec, and commerce. In basic terms, shop classes. It did have a large food laboratory. It had a textile room. And it had a small preschool laboratory. It cost $770,000 for that building. I think it shows that we spent $700,000 on the building, and it had an additional $50,000 of equipment. The Itaction wall in this building costs more than that today. The building was named for Otto Olson, a 1919 graduate of the Kearney Normal School. I'm not sure if he was a classmate or not of Galen's, but his campus career spanned 38 years. Under his tutelage, we became the first school in the nation to offer driver education. All that being said, by the mid-1970s, our industrial arts building had done just what the industrial arts had done in many high schools across Nebraska. It had faded and was becoming obsolete. For the next 40 years, we had to force-fit programs and curriculum into a building that was never designed for any of those purposes. Galen, we are indebted to you for your leadership to see that we needed something else, and for advancing that appropriation that brought us to today. As a senator, I can tell you there are rare moments when you're able to see your vision and your hard work come to fruition. Today is one of those days, and we are glad that you're with us today. I'd like to invite Galen Hadley to the podium to say a few words. Galen?
Good afternoon. You know, it's tough when you're retired and you have to go through your closet to find a suit that fits. You got to get your gold loafer tie out from behind the door, right? But it was worth it. And it's nice to be here with President Carter. I do have a favor to ask him, since math is over here. I wondered if he could go back to 1960 records and somehow change that C in calculus that I got to maybe a B. You know, that was the class that made me decide to be a business major rather than an engineering major. I came on this campus July 1, 1991, which is kind of a unique date because that's the date we became a part of the University of Nebraska system. And I sat and I met with each of the departments that were in the College of B&T. I was the dean. And I met with industrial technology. I met with, at that time, it was called Family and Consumer Sciences. And the first thing they asked me for was a new building. Now, it's taken almost 30 years, but it's got done. And it is a really premier building. I'm glad to have played a small part in getting it here, a very small part. But I do want to really thank one person who has a vision for UNK and really understands the mission of UNK and understands the importance of facilities for UNK. and that's Chancellor Doug Kristensen. Let's give him a big hand. This building is just part of all the changes that have happened under his tutelage. And I think there is not a college or university of 6,000 or 6,500 students that has a better physical plant than the University of Nebraska at Kearney. I'll finish by telling you one little quick story that I hope he doesn't mind me telling, is the College of Education came up through the legislature, the new building, and he was speaker. And the governor at that time called him in and said, I'm going to veto that appropriation for the College of Education building. And at that time, Speaker Kristensen says, you veto it, and I have 35 votes to override it. So when we look at the buildings here, it's not only what he's done as chancellor, but what he has done in his prior life to make UNK a great institution. Thank you.
Thank you, Galen, very, very much. There are a number of other people that need to be acknowledged today, and I want to share my appreciation to our Senior Vice Chancellor, Charlie Bisick. It's Charlie's leadership on this important work that made this building happen. To be able to put the pieces and parts together and to have the vision to do that, Charlie, we couldn't have done it without you. Thank you so much. Our appreciation also goes to past deans, Tim Burkink and Peter Longo, whose departments in the College of Business and Technology and Arts and Sciences worked under their leadership to conceptualize this building and to put the ideas into practice. Let's give our appreciation to those two. Their efforts laid the groundwork for new deans of these two colleges, Dean Tim Jarris and Dean Ryan Teton, who took their leadership roles in 2019. Current deans, thank you so much for making this work. I think there's congratulations to Vice Chancellor John Watts and his staff, the Facilities Director Lee McQueen, our Assistant Director Michael Creamers, our NU Central Facilities Planning and Construction staff who worked on this project, Architect Alan Wadey, Project Manager Greg Kristen, Project Inspector Gavin Denton, our Interior Designer Gail Warren, the Project Team Coordinator Allie Nichols, the Building Code Official Rich Firebaugh, and our Director of Capital Projects Brooke Hay. They were crucial in making sure this building was built. Thank you so much. Oh, and then we get to the people who actually built it. What a wonderful job on a beautiful building. Houseman Construction, A+. I know Joy Houseman's here, the CEO, as well as Heath Stickelholtz, the Business Development Director. But I'd also like you to meet architect Jamie Wetfield, along with Matt Luce, Josh Albright, Aaron Abramson, Mark Fredericks, Rachel Glock, Ashley Abramson, and Val Garcia, all from the team that helped make this building possible. Thank you very much. You know, there's one other part of that. The people from Houseman Construction, those of you who are a UNK alumnus, raise both hands. Let's see where, look at this. Huh? The proof is in the pudding. A great company has great people, and look where they came from. Thank you so much. I hope you're as proud to be Lopers as we are. Why don't you give us some Lopes, huh? There you go. All right. Houseman Constructions also generously contributed funds to a classroom as one of the primary sponsors of Discovery Hall. That is unusual and deeply appreciated. Joey, thank you so much. We really do appreciate it. Now, before we get to the ribbon cutting, I want to talk about the most important people in this project, and that's our students. Regent and Student Body President Max Beal carried the baton that was handed to him from Logan Cradle to Nicole Kent to get us to today. Those three student leaders and thousands of other students who chose to come to UNK despite the conditions of Otto Olson just amazes me. Some of our best programs in our worst building. And now, because of, and amid all the drafts and noise and discomforts of Otto Olson, they're going to get a chance to be in a building that is first class, and they'll go from our worst building to our best. I'd like to have a round of applause for all the students who have had to walk the halls of Otto Olson, hoping and wishing for today, for our students. At this point, I'd like to ask Max, could you come up and give us some remarks on behalf of our students? Max Beal, Student Body President.
Thank you, Chancellor Kristensen. Good afternoon, everyone. This really is an exciting day, certainly for faculty, staff, administrators, and alumni, but even more so for students across campus. I've been walking to classes over there in West Center for almost 3 years now. 2 of those years, I've watched the progression of Discovery Hall each day, from the initial grading of the site to the raising of the I-beams, and now finally this has become the new home for our faculty and a place of excitement, opportunity, and congregation for our students. I don't believe a campus is defined by brick and mortar alone, but make no mistake, projects like this really do impact students. Discovery Hall will be an asset in recruiting talent to our campus, just as it will be an asset in enhancing the way we go about learning. The student body I represent is comprised of some truly impressive individuals who are grateful for the many opportunities we've received here and indebted to so many outstanding faculty and staff members who continually go above and beyond their duties to prepare us. Discovery Hall is nothing less than top-notch, a facility worthy of housing such exceptional educators and creating an environment conducive to the highest level of learning. In celebration of this building, we owe a debt of gratitude to our administrators from UNK, from the University of Nebraska, as well as to the many taxpayers across the state who support our public university system. There's no doubt this building will be an asset to the state of Nebraska that has enabled UNK to better train our student body, the future of Nebraska's workforce, who will stay here and continue to create value in our state. On behalf of students at UNK, thank you for your investment in our education. It will pay dividends for decades to come. Go Lopers.
Oh, Max, you know, you made me nervous there for a little bit. It reminds me of a Board of Regents meeting that we had out here in campus, and we were showing off our great academic programs, and we were just beginning to push the concept of graduating in 4 years. Our unnamed student leader stood up and she said, you know, this has been 5 of the best years of my life. And I kind of swallowed hard. She goes, oh, I was having so much fun I had to take a victory lap. So I'm glad to hear it was 3 years. That's really good. You know, today it is, and it's homecoming, fall weather. It also reminds me of the theme of a movie that I like, The Greatest Show. And that movie was all about inclusion, creativity, and discovery as well. Can you hear it? Ladies and gents, this is the moment you've waited for. Everything you've wanted is right in front of you. We've seen the impossible come true. The walls can't stop us now. Some great words. We want to be as normal as we can be this year, despite all the challenges we have. And you cannot have a college campus and you can't be normal if you don't have the Pride of the Plains Marching Band. And so at this point, for their debut performance for homecoming week, this is the greatest show. Thank you so much, band. I know your fall's not been as you've planned. It's not been as any of us have planned, but it's great to see you here today. It's great to hear from you, and you are indeed the pride of the Plains. From that movie, you've reminded us that today's event is about millions of dreams and will be dreamed by thousands of students, and the future is up to them to discover. The greatest show really is about to begin with Discovery Hall. So the moment we've been dreaming about since probably 1960 is about to happen. I'd like President Carter, Galen, if you'd come forward, Ryan Teton, Tim Jarris, Max, Charlie, John Lutz, would you please come forward? Thank you all for coming. Please come back. Feel free to walk around at your leisure.